Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are now going to continue the midterm Congress. We've had 4 workshop sessions in the meantime. I hope that you've enjoyed the dinner last night, and I also hope you enjoyed the wonderful event and spectacle that we saw. The most important thing is that through yesterday afternoon and this morning's workshops, you were able to reach all the targets that we set ourselves for those workshop sessions. I hope you've understood the message that we want to put across to all of you, which is that we want your expectations to be met, and we want those to be done in your national federations, and we hope that you can take that message home with you. Now, without further ado, we will start looking at the conclusions. So I'm going to give Patrick the floor. He will then guide us through this part, and he will share with us the conclusions of each of the workshop sessions. Patrick?
Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome back in this room. The 4 workshops, I hope they have been interesting, full of interaction, and you've had a chance to learn something or share your experience with the peers in the group. The first workshop is about building the standardized development pathway. All of you have gone through the conclusion that I have received here from the moderators, and obviously you are absolutely free to agree or disagree later on, is that generally the development programs and the services that were presented are understood and embraced and helpful to tackle challenges on a long-term development. In addition, ideas have come up in those workshops on this particular point, some potential programs that we should maybe create in order to help you. One is the creation of a mini basketball and youth-oriented program that would stimulate the creation of local competitions, in particular at school. The second one is the creation of a development program for elite clubs to support their specific development and professionalization that would ultimately contribute to the development of national leagues. And the third one is to have a program or to clarify or help integrate 3-on-3 specificities in coaches, referees, table officials, and statisticians' curriculum. In addition, some other topics were discussed. They are not necessarily part of development programs as such, but have an impact on your development in the long term. And certainly we have to be careful on those and learn from the experience in every single one of the countries on how they deal with those issues. The first one that is highlighted here is finding the balance between receiving help from the political authorities and experiencing interference from those authorities. Now, of course, I'd like also to maybe take a note that this is valid in some countries, less in others, and of course some of these suggestions come from countries where these matters are more important than in others. There is a second topic that is of relevance to you and that you have highlighted, and that is transparencies and correct player contract management and tax declarations. Very specific on the tax declaration, but certainly the relationship between player contracts, the fact that they have contracts, that they are licensed in your national federations, and that they may then move, not respecting those contracts, or in fact refusing to sign contracts, as is the case in some countries, we understand is an important point. The third point is enhancing player agent regulations, improving transparency, and having national federations involved as a must to improve the transfer system. A fourth element is analyzing transfer regulations, in particular the relationship with the NCAA, the buyouts for players that move to the NBA, the transfer of minors, so under 18, and helping countries to create proper transfer regulations internally in between the clubs in a given country. A fifth point is initiate with the proper institutions the protection of domestic and national players. As the world is globalizing, players tend to travel, and if they don't find accommodation or a proper environment in a given country and they are good enough, they travel around freely. And of course, at some times, and for clubs, it might be more interesting to have many imports rather than forming national domestic players. This is a big issue in some parts of the world and becomes also in other parts very relevant, especially when we focus a lot on national teams. So this is another point that has been highlighted. And finally, FIBA's guidance was asked in architectural design of new arenas. Those were the points that came out from the first workshop on the standardized development pathway on the national federation development. I'm sure there's others that certainly were raised, but these seem to have come across the 4 sessions that this workshop has held. So there are commonalities in every region around those topics. The second one workshop was about maximizing opportunities out of the qualifiers. Here, the moderators have been more strict in the conclusions. First conclusion is that strategic planning and preparation is key. It does take time. It is not just about 1 game or 2 games in November, then again 2 games in February. It is important to plan and prepare well in advance. And the second conclusion is to maximize the opportunities through taking advantage of the tools and the expertise and the manuals that FIBA provides, making sure you have the right resource, the right skill level at the right place. At the end of the day is that you improve the staff in your federations so that you are sure to have the people you need and have the experience that you need in order to make this successful. And finally, also align your strategy to the development goals your governments or your sport authorities might have in your country. These are the 2 main conclusions from this workshop preparing for the FIBA qualifiers. Once again, planning, and finally, making sure that to maximize the opportunities with the resources and with the best possible resources. 3-on-3, the third workshop. Here, I would like to correct something that I have said yesterday, and that obviously for a top-level athlete is extremely important. I would like to withdraw that comment and correct it with the right comment. Is our good friend Garbajosa did not lose in the preliminaries in that World Championship, but in the quarterfinals. So I hope, Jorge, that is now, the record is straight. Now, the 3 conclusions from the 3-on-3 workshop were that, one is that measure success, you can do this from different angles. You can do this from the perspective of the grassroots success, in the fact that how many players or how many events do you have of 3-on-3 in your country under your parrainage or under your umbrella. Or you can measure it by the elite. How strong are you at the international level by the qualification, the results in World, Zone Cups, or World Tour. So measurement of success is you don't have to do everything, but you can measure success in different ways depending on the strategy that you have in your country. The second conclusion is that it still is a new baby. It's the second discipline. It is not simple to change our mindset and work with promoters, with people that do things maybe a little bit unorthodoxly out of our typical way of structures, and the rules are a little bit different, although they should be simpler. There's a digital tool to use and so forth. So here it is important that as a second conclusion, that the 360 team is at your service. You call, they come. We pay. I think that's about the right way. And we do have tools for trainings and for helping you addressing a pathway for success in 3-on-3. And in that case, this is the third conclusion, that success is possible for everybody. But it doesn't come without doing anything. It requires effort, planning, and at least one dedicated resource. Not necessarily 100%, I don't know what they told you in the workshop, but certainly you need to have somebody that focuses on it. And I'm sure you've learned a lot from the Netherlands experience, you've learned a lot from those countries that have worked very hard in making 3-on-3 a successful tool next to the main discipline that we have. The fourth element and the fourth workshop is basketball and the media in the digital age. This has been apparently also very well received from the comments that we have heard at the breaks, during the lunch times, and yesterday evening. There is a transition going on in the digital and media environment. First conclusion, important to embrace it. The second is that through these workshops, we hope you got an understanding on where FIBA is going, how we will touch the millennials, which are considered as non-traditional television viewers. And the main message is that the more a national federation contributes, the more you engage with them, and in social media, the more you will eventually benefit from it, and the whole basketball family as a result as well. I remind you that we still want more players bouncing the ball than kicking it, and therefore also more players watching the game of basketball rather than some other very nice and good sports. These are the four main conclusions of the workshop that we have been reported to here at the table. And of course, we'd certainly open, Mr. President, if anyone would like to make a comment or has anything that he would like to add. The directors or the moderators that were available for those workshops are also here in the room if there's anything that somebody would like to clarify at this particular point.
Gracias.
Thank you, Patrick. As the Secretary has said, we can now open this to all of you and all the Federation. If anyone wants any explanations or if anyone wants to make an individual comment, we have got the directors and the moderators with us, so we can really now open up the floor to this.
Comentario.
Are there any comments you'd like to make?
Por favor.
Yes, please. Perhaps just identify yourself. Tell us who you are, please.
Colombia.
I'm from Colombia. Fernando Garcia is my name. I'm president of our federation. I really think we're on the right track here. However, FIBA, which is responsible for all the organization, has to realize that there are still a lot of countries which are underdeveloped in terms of basketball, and they do need more support so they can catch up with the others. There are, I would say, 80 countries which are moving into the elite classifications because we are classifying ourselves for the World Championships. But there are about 214 which are not doing so well. So we have to strengthen grassroots game. We have to strengthen the women's game and 3-on-3. And to do that, we're going to need the support of Central FIBA. Thank you.
Otra pregunta, otro comentario. Sí.
Thank you, President Horatio. It's Ned Coton from Basketball Australia. I have recently become the president of Basketball Australia, and so this is my first FIBA event. And I hear the words of my colleague, but what I would say is for myself coming into this environment that three things have struck me. The first is the quality of the infrastructure and the environment in which we're in enables me to go back to my federation with a lot of confidence that FIBA has the capability of leading us very well. We have challenges as we've heard, but we have the opportunity to take those forward. I also would like to thank my colleagues here because I have been welcomed very warmly. We're fortunate that through Oceania, through Burton and David, we've had the opportunity to meet many of you, and for that I thank you. And lastly, the quality of the information and the presentations that we've received has really been first class, and I think that is the first step in leading us forward and making sure that we really do have the solutions to grow and to face the challenges that we do. So, congratulations and thank you, and I've certainly enjoyed a fantastic event.
Muchas gracias, Presidente.
Thank you very much, President. Any further questions or comments? Floor is open.
Okay, vamos a contestarle.
So perhaps we could respond to Colombia. Thank you, President. Yes, so is there something? Sorry, we hadn't seen it. I think there is somebody. I think there is one more we hadn't seen. At the back of the room there. Please go ahead.
Ambrose, President Uganda. There is one point that I think we missed out in the breakout sessions that was very, very important. And Mr. President, this point, you know about it. You were at our Congress in Africa. It was a very, very passionately debated on point, and that's the point relating to the transfer participation of players with dual nationality, their involvement in the national team events of a country of their choice. This point is very, very important. The current provisions of the rules are a bit restrictive in around 3 or 4 dimensions. Point number one is that we determine the country where these athletes or these basketballers are going to play at the age of 16 when they're still minors. And later on, when they grow, they are 20, they're 23, they want to choose a country to play for, maybe a country where their mother and father comes from and they cannot play. It becomes limiting and a challenge to the federations. And now looking at the new FIBA competition, if you look at the product of Africa as national team product, the competitions, with this need to improve the quality of the game in Africa at the national team level, and allowing these players to be able to choose at maybe an age of 20 or plus to now choose a country to play for, will greatly enhance the product, and this will reduce on the challenges that your marketing, media and marketing partners would have in selling the product Africa. As we see it right now, there will be around 4 or 5 countries, but you open up to this, I believe Africa will have very great competition, and it will help in the marketing of our product. And also, of course, in line with the IOC, line with inclusion, and also right to play, and also allowing players now of age to be able to choose a country to play for. I think we need to, as a family, being one family, we need to be able to open up and allow the players at a mature age to choose which country to play for. Needless to say that at that age, most of them have already seen and gauged that maybe they're not of even any use or can never be drafted in the country where they are supposed to be or they are registered to be playing. Africa, I think, is greatly affected by this, together with the likes of Oceania. And it's a point, Mr. President, you were at our meeting. We pray and plead with you and the Central Board that this matter is put to discussion and that this rule and regulation is discussed thoroughly to make sure that we make it all inclusive for the players, but also we open up to improve the quality of competition in Africa by allowing these foreign-based players to come back and play for their countries of their choice. Thank you, Mr. President.
Gracias.
Thank you very much, President. Patrick, could you come in?
Otro.
Oh, sorry, I think there was another point. Sorry.
Merci.
Thank you, President. Thank you very much. I listened carefully to the conclusions from the workshop sessions. I'd like to talk a little bit about one FIBA. And if you look at one FIBA and measure what was concluded in the workshops and measure it against the one FIBA notion, I think we see that countries are not at the same level. Is one FIBA going to provide those countries with a good development program according to their real needs? Thank you.
Merci a todos.
Thank you, says the President.
Ahora sí.
Okay, thank you.
See,
Thank you, President.
back to the first intervention, which somehow makes a bridge also to the intervention of our friend from Benin, from Colombia. It is correct that we have different levels of development. This is quite natural. Not everybody is at the same level, at the same maturity in our sport, but also not in the structures, but not just in sport, in many parts of society and of the country's development itself. And I think that there are two answers to the direct approach that we are taking. The one is that we want to accelerate the growth, also for those that are not exactly at the top, those 20, 25 countries that are very regularly at World Championships or at Olympic Games, but the next level, so the next level up to 80 immediately starts playing, and there already we have a number of countries that are forced to participate very directly at the high level, and that will certainly help progress and develop. And here I believe that there's a lot of tools that have been provided or are being provided, a lot of workshops, a lot of work, and still will happen as these countries are invited to the continental events this summer to further learn from the organizers of those continental events, and then also further on will be helped and kind of supported through the technical advisors that will be available well before the game starts and during the windows and also beyond that. But then there's a whole range of the next level of countries that will also play to try to qualify for the continental events. And this is going to happen in the same pattern, a little bit different, probably also more cost efficient in some places tournament-wise, in some places home and away-wise. That will depend on the local conditions that you in your regions and in your continents have agreed with your regional offices. But the fact that 150 countries out of the 215 are going to participate in it is already a huge boost in the development at the right level for each and everyone. And the second answer is that I believe that somehow you may have seen in the report, in the activity report, but also maybe it went through the workshop, that the countries are classified. The classification is not exactly according to the ranking, the sports ranking, but they're classified in those that are leaders, in those that have a very big potential to become leaders, in those that have more moderate potential, and then those that have different perspective. And the development tools, and in response to our friend from Benin, will be adjusted to the level that is most appropriate to the country, in agreement with the regional office and with the country. If you believe that the assessment is not exactly correct and you suddenly have ambitions that go beyond the structures you have or beyond the talents you have, we may tell you maybe you are too ambitious. But if you suddenly have an incredible generation of talents that pops up, we may certainly move you to the next level and provide you with development tools that are adequate for that particular level. So the idea of now when we have assessed 180 countries until just very recently, and many of you have seen, whether it's the Lubomir Kotleba or others that have been traveling around to your country, these 180 assessments allow us to give that ranking. And according to that, this year we are preparing tailor-made programs for the countries so that we're not asking a country that is in a development phase to act like a country that is a leader or in an incredible potential growth. So I think that we will be able to address your concern and being able to help you have tools that are simple but very effective to make you move to the next level. It is absolutely true that we need to have, as we said yesterday, and as our friend from Colombia said, we are getting stronger top down, but we need to get equally strong bottom up, and that is absolutely correct. And here we need to strengthen the women's basketball, we need to strengthen the youth activity, and you need to help us strengthen the 3-on-3 activity, because the 3-on-3 activity will touch every single aspect of your life in the years to come. I'd like to thank the comments from our friends from Australia and thank them for being here and sharing with us their views. And I hope that somehow, at least with the workshops, we've tried to change the routine of the Congress in the sense that we have an opportunity in smaller groups to exchange. Now today, these couple of days we went through, we divided you in groups by region, so by continents. I hope that in one of our next ones we will be able to divide you and mix you between the continents, because I think it is equally interesting for all of you to understand that what happens in your area, well, it's maybe simple, but it is absolutely not simple for federations and peers in a different area. And I think that exchange is probably also going to be valuable because you might equally learn how, for example, with less resources in some islands in Oceania, you're still able to have an incredible development program for a small island, which can be done in a very efficient way and could equally be applicable to larger countries where the economic conditions are very similar, although the size of the country is different. The third remark coming from our friends from Ghana and related to debate that has also happened during the Congress, the midterm Congress in Africa, is certainly an interesting debate that is has been dealt with by FIBA at the world level on a regular basis. It's coming back and back, and it is something that your representatives in this board sitting up here have highlighted on a number of occasions over the past years. Now the general, I do agree on one comment, and that is that within this context that we are changing the competition system, and we are trying to motivate people to do more, then certainly restrictions, administrative restrictions, can become a difficulty in order to accelerate that growth. On the other hand, however, one has to understand that it is about creating a link not just by passport with a country, but also making sure that you develop talents in your own country, and that whoever represents you on a national team has actually gone through your own basketball school in your country and is not the product of the basketball school of another country. That is happens. The board has always agreed and argued, and at the end of the day has always strongly agreed and argued that one naturalized player is enough. that on a court with 5 players, if you start changing that rule and you suddenly have a second naturalized player authorized, this will dramatically change the dynamic of the game in some, and therefore it is at this stage the board felt that this is not yet appropriate. Now one may agree, disagree, but that is the current position of the board. On the other hand, a player that has not yet played anywhere and has the ability to play, he is free at any time to choose, and if he has a dual national, he's free at any time to choose where he wants to play. There is no restriction in any way where that happens. However, I understand that this is a concern for many of our friends in the African continent, and certainly we also, all those in the other continents, in particular there where maybe the economic situation is better, we also have to understand that it might be quite natural for families to migrate, to try to find better conditions elsewhere, and that at some point these citizens who have this dual nationality, although they might have been playing in other countries, would like to go back to their countries, and that is a discussion that has happened, and we do have some cases where this has happened, and we certainly will take this on board, following a thorough report that your African representatives will give to the Central Board the next time. So maybe this issue of nationalities and transfers and representation at the national team will be the topic, a specific topic for the next Congress in 2019. At the same time, you also need to understand that there's a strong push for many countries to be very protective of their own domestic players that they are producing, and they don't want to see them go away too fast. And so we have to find that right balance in order to help our friends from Africa progress, but at the same time reward the basketball schools that have produced the players and have invested in those players for years at school level and then at high school and then in lower level clubs and then maybe in professional clubs. So we take the point on board from our friends in Ghana and from Africa in particular, and we will have Uganda. Sorry, I misunderstood. My apologies, from Uganda, and we will have a thorough discussion again on the topic at the Central Board. I think I answered all questions, although maybe not necessarily giving solutions, but certainly at least an answer to those questions, Mr. President.
Muy bien, gracias, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. Well, we've done that point now, and thank you for all your comments. This means that we can now move on from the workshops, and what we can now do is Mr. Schick from Tencent, and we're going to, Patrick is going to tell us what his curriculum is. We can now hear about the background of our keynote speaker, and we can understand the relationship between Tencent and FIBA. Thank you.
Mr. President, now following up on the fourth workshop being basketball and media in the digital age, and presenting presenting yesterday our partnership with Perform and the FIBA Media and the development in that area, and you've gone through a number of topics during your workshop. You've heard about OTT, so I heard that during the pictures, photographs, people were talking about OTT, so you start even to learn very technical names. It is just appropriate to introduce you to Tencent, who is currently an absolute industry leader in China and beyond. And what is striking with Tencent is that it is not even a 20-year-old company. It has been built, founded in Shenzhen, which happens to be just across the border here, and went in 1998, and it went public here at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange only in 2004. Today, it has a market capitalization of $279 billion US, and in fact it is the 10th biggest publicly traded company by market value worldwide in less than 20 years. Now that gives you immediately probably a kind of a a glimpse at how fast this world has changed and how slow we might have been in embracing that change. However, we're trying to catch up. Now we might never get to that sort of capitalization. So, but having said that, we are very proud to have been able to sign, thanks to our friends from FIBA Media, an agreement, a long-term agreement with Tencent, which covers digital and sponsorship matters. We've signed it in September of last year, and we've signed it for a period of 2017 and 2025. Tencent thinks that and have a big belief in our sport, and because of that, they already also have a very successful and a long-term relationship with our friends from the NBA. And we certainly look forward to bringing basketball together with them, and especially the World Cup, to the next level in this digital age. Now, Mr. Gordon Shea is here and will give you his view. He is the General Manager Online Media Group of Tencent. He is in charge of marketing and public relations for Tencent News, Sports, and so on. Before then, however, he was head of marketing and business departments of a number of industry leaders, including Coca-Cola and Samsung, and has worked with Coca-Cola in 2005 to lead the very first digital interactive campaign in that industry, and has pioneered a series of innovative marketing practices, including a series of Olympic and FIFA World Cup campaigns that have achieved breakthroughs in both branding and business. In 16 years at Coca-Cola and now in Tencent, but back then in Coca-Cola, he turned around the company's revenue and profit via marketing and product innovation as head of the business department. He has graduated in China, in Shanghai, received an MBA degree in a number of universities. Congratulations for your astonishing and great career and for working for this fantastic company. The floor is yours, Mr. Xi.
For the introduction. And thank you, Mr. Patrick, for the nice words about Tencent and myself. And thank you for the entire Congress to invite Tencent and myself here. So it is such an honor, and we are honored and humbled to be here as the very young partner of FIBA. We're really proud of it, and we are here to try our best to contribute a little bit to this great sport, basketball. So here I'm gonna introduce a little bit about Tencent to help you guys understand who we are, and then we can provide the best to provide those kind of little contribution to this great sport to you. So this is just a start of our partnership, and we are here, we work together to make this a great sport even greater. So here, so we are gonna have the presentation, the PPT ready there. Okay, the partnership. Oh yeah, the organizer gave me the remote. Oh, I'm happy it's still there. So good afternoon, first of all. So here I'm going to start this page to, as Patrick said about the market value of Tencent. We are a very young company. We are like 18 years old right now. We are currently the fourth largest internet company in the world, right after Google, Amazon, Facebook. So the company strategy, just a one word, connection. We want to connect people with people. We want to connect the people with the services. And we want to connect the people with devices. So it's just a very simple word, it's connection. And China is a little bit isolated in terms of internet. The Google service is not available in China, Facebook, a lot of services not available. So Tencent actually take a very big opportunity and responsibility to provide this service to the Chinese consumer. For example, as we talk about connecting people with people, here I'm using this famous brand name, not just for using them, but I just want to make sure you guys understand what kind of service we are doing for the Chinese consumer. First of all, we are doing the Facebook kind of social kind of service, and we also doing those messaging kind of service like a WhatsApp. And we also do is Instagram and Snapchat, those kind of a chatting business. So that's we call connecting people. And also we connecting people with services. Those services including, it's like a news service. It's like a CNN and the BBC. And we also providing the video kind of a stream, like a Netflix and HBO is doing in North America. And we also doing this ESPN equivalent kind of service in China. It's a Tencent Sports. That's I will spend a little bit more time afterwards to talk about sports. And also we have the Google Play and iTunes equivalent service in China because Google Play is not available in China. So Tencent provide those kind of app store service. And we also have the PayPal, the e-payment kind of system. And we also have the video game and esports and the film and some comic. And in terms of connecting the stuff with devices, this the most important thing for Tencent to providing the value to our customer and the consumer is the AI, artificial intelligence, and the cloud. We encourage our customer and the consumer to upload everything on the cloud. And with the uploading to the cloud, the artificial intelligence will analyze everything you uploaded there. For example, even for a farmer, if he upload all the stuff to the cloud, for example, the raining season, whatever, the computer, the artificial intelligence will recommend him when to do this seeding, when to doing this cropping thing. So this is the magic of the artificial intelligence, and Tencent is working very hard on that. So with those kind of product, you cannot imagine that Tencent as one company is providing all kinds of service in China. It's like we combine Facebook and Snapchat, CNN, Netflix, and even PayPal, Google Play in one company. So that is Tencent in China. So we are here to see what kind of support we can do for this great sports basketball. And here we want to talk about this full strategy for the company. First of all, is innovation. We are an internet company. We want to be, and we are here to innovate a lot of stuff for our core business and artificial intelligence as well, the virtual reality. And also in terms of investment, as you've seen on the previous page, we don't have e-commerce on our core business, but we do the investment. For example, we invest on the Jingdong.com. That is the second biggest e-commerce right after Alibaba in China. And we also acquire the Riot Games, the most successful popular PC game, and the Supercell, the most popular mobile game. And in terms of cooperation, we have the travel business online, and we have this taxi. It's like a Chinese version of Uber in China. We call it the Didi. And we have lifestyle apps. It's like the Yap kind of a service equivalent in China. So all kinds of O2O, online to offline kind of a business. We are doing a lot for the cooperate with them to provide a better service and internet experience for Chinese consumer. The O2O is like when you are trying to enjoy a offline service, you can order it online, and you can enjoy the service offline, and finally you pay it online. So we try to connect. We're trying to break the boundary online and offline. And by the way, Tencent is now the biggest transaction e-payment in China. So as we talk about this 300 billion market value for Tencent, the entire company believes it's, but that is just some small secret. It's not a public saying, but the company's value, from my perspective, is totally undervalued. So you can invest this company's stock, and actually it is listed in Hong Kong, but that is cannot be put it on the notes. It's just my personal perspective, under record, but it's a secret. And also, interestingly, Tencent is providing the ecosystem. The company is big, and we feel the huge responsibility as a citizen to provide this value to everyone in China and in the world. So we open all these Tencent platform services openly and freely to the Chinese entrepreneur. So our target is to invest like 10 billion RMB, Chinese yuan, to support those kind of young entrepreneurs. So far, after 3 years, we actually already cultivated 20 young companies. Their market value reached 10 billion RMB. So that's a huge success. We are here trying to help those kind of young entrepreneurs to build their success by leveraging Tencent's open platform. So this is about, so this video is about the Tencent product to change Chinese people's life. Let's take a look.
腾讯移动产品汇集海量优质内容，覆盖多个平台。
Gathering huge amount of Tencent's mobile products meet the diverse needs for information, entertainment, social, and life services for Chinese consumers. There's a real person with his true story behind each of the virtual reality technologies. We need to understand what they need and need to be there when and as they need us. We understand you.
This video actually shows how Tencent's product, those apps, to play part of the role in our Chinese consumers' life. As you've seen on this slide, this is totally 7/24 kind of situation for Tencent's ads. When a Chinese consumer get up in the morning, we have a product to fit his needs. And when he is going on the breakfast, way to the office, and in the office, lunch, anytime, 7/24 hours, our product actually is part of their life. And in terms of population in China, totally we have a 1.4 billion, but 700 million people can actually connect it to the business. And 100% of them are using Tencent's product. And 55% of their time online is with Tencent's product. So this is how Tencent in China. And looking at this 700 million people who can connect internet, in terms of a social media app, Tencent's penetration is 700 million. In terms of the service, like a video service, it's like what I said about similar equivalent to a Netflix or HBO. Our user is 400 million, which is the market #1 in China. And for news service, as I said, about equivalent to CNN, BBC kind of product, we have 200 million users in China. And now let's go to sports. Tencent Sports is a separate app, and also it's part of Tencent's internet service. We have 40 million daily active users, and we are much more ahead of comparing with number 2 and the number 3. And all those kind of success is building on the partnership with different kind of brand owners. And most importantly is basketball. Actually, we are working with NBA, and we bring the success together. And thank you, Mark, over there, to trust Tencent to be the partner. And also with this partnership with FIBA, we believe Tencent leverage its platform. We can contribute to these great sports. And we definitely is gonna bring a lot of excitement for Chinese consumer with this great sport. So we have a responsibility and a mission here. We try to bring Chinese basketball fans a better, even greater kind of broadcasting and enjoyment of this sports. Now we talk about Tencent Sports vision. We, as the company vision, similar. We want to be a connector, and as a connector, first of all, we're going to start with we want to be the world-class media. We want to provide a great broadcasting. We want to own a lot of different IPs, and we also want to make sure our production capability is going to be the world-class. But this is just a fundamental thing. And with that, we want to provide value to our partners, not just our consumers. Partner is like our advertising partner, our IP partner, like FIBA, you guys here. So this is the role as a connector. So we want to make sure we can get there. So that's why we want to build a 4 strategic pillar to make sure we can be like there. So first of all is the production capability, as we just talked about. And the second of all is as the internet company, we have a lot of innovation there. And this is the second. And the third one, with those kind of capability in terms of innovation and the production, we want to engage the fans to make sure more fans can be here, to enjoy the service, enjoy the sports. And the last one is about the monetization. That is very important to make sure everything's sustainable. So I want to go through it one by one. And first of all is the live broadcasting service. And we, as an internet company, we want to add a little bit to them. For example, the interaction. For example, the entertainment elements. We want to bring them to the broadcasting. And the second of all is the original programs. As a very young media company, we try to build the capability to build those kind of program. And meanwhile, we also want to connect the sports elements with the other passion points. And this example here is talk about what we did in Olympic 2016. We bring those Olympian gold medalists to our studio. We ask them to talk about sports, and we ask them to talk about cooking, what kind of cuisine they like, and ask to talk about that. The thing is that all the female fans, those not professional, not hardcore fans, they are going to enjoy from this cooking kind of thing to connect it with sports. It got a very good viewership to expand the fan base, not just to the hardcore fans, also to the variety of people. And the third pillar here is about the editorial capability. We talk about we have a 150 professional editorial journalist people to make sure we can make the live broadcasting and original program happen. But the other two things is very interesting. One is the open media platform. This is a very, maybe it's unique, maybe it's also popular in the rest of the world. But the thing is that when you go to a Western restaurant, you will see they will give you one page of the menu. A very premium restaurant probably is going to give you 2 pages. But in China also, here in Hong Kong, when you go to a restaurant, maybe for today's dinner or yesterday, you've already seen that, they will give you a very big book. And this is the menu. There's a lot of variety dishes there. You can choose what you like from this kind of a variety. So in China, this is similar here for the news and the media environment. We recruited 500 people. They're the key opinion leader. They provide the content for us. They provide their unique perspective. We can meet different fans' needs. So this is the open media platform. And the last one is the artificial intelligence, which is to talk about. We have a robot in a very secret lab in Tencent's building. Actually, it's a super kind of computer there. And they can watch the Olympic Games. And they can generate one article to describe the game, the result, the highlights of the game. Just 1 second, they can generate an article. And our system can distribute that our article to everyone's mobile phone in another 1 second. So after 2 seconds, there's a news article. It's in front of everyone's mobile phone. They can read the news. So this is the power of artificial intelligence. So this is not something in the sci-fi movies. Actually, it happens. But we will control it very well. We will not let the artificial intelligence hurt our human being. So we only limited their power to do the article writing. So it's going to be very peaceful. And here's the example, talk about what we did using the capability we talked about in the previous page in 2016 Rio Olympics. As you know, the Chinese, not just Chinese, in the entire world, the young people's the reading, their watching habit has had a very big change. They have a lot of cluster times. So we cut the Olympic game video, these footages, to 600 short videos every day. And we provided for these different, to meet different needs. So the viewership totally during Olympic, only 3 weeks, it's 8 billion. And we also, the AI writer, these open media guys, we generate 150,000 articles, and total viewership is 2 billion. And also there's another interesting thing is about the live SNS. We have some young people, they want to do their own broadcasting. For example, a very serious Olympic game, a very serious commentator is doing that. But a young guy can provide some really funny commentating service or some other kind of editing. So this kind of a live SNS during the Olympic period, we generate 1,000 hours. So it's like 4 times bigger than the real gaming hours. And this generated 1 billion viewership. And also for the, we also create some some mobile games, leveraging this technology of a virtual reality. And there's 6 million unique visitors to play this game. This is just a start. We believe with the partnership with you guys, with FIBA, we can generate an even bigger success here. So then we go to this innovation and technology part. And with Tencent's capability as the internet company, we have some basic stuff like the Blu-ray quality to make sure the cross-screen watching kind of thing. It's like what iTunes is doing, but that is just a basic. We are thinking about a lot of innovation based on the consumer, the viewers' needs. For example, we create a product called VIP Room, and those different fans from different parts of the world. For example, one guy is in North America, one guy is in China, maybe one guy is in Australia. They can watch the game together in a VIP room. They can chatting. It's totally private. They can express whatever they want. So it's like a box in the real stadium. And also we are providing those kind of prediction system, the result predicting, the points predicting. It provides a lot of fun. Gambling is definitely a human nature. Everybody's like it. But in China, it's not legal. So we provide a legal way for people to meet people's needs. And also we have a multi-angle broadcasting. Also we definitely leveraging a lot, learn from these North America broadcasters. And we also provide this augmented reality and the virtual reality broadcasting. And also we have these bullet comments. I'm not sure how many of you understand. Those I'm very old, by the way, but young people, they really kind of like, they can watch the full screen video, and meanwhile, they can read those kind of message on the screen. I cannot do that, but they can. So we'll provide those kind of platform. And for those live, SNS live guys, I just talk about some amateur, they are going to do the broadcasting. We provide an ecosystem to make sure they can get income. For example, if you like those kind of this specific guys live broadcasting, you can give flower, you can give even a house, give it to them. And it can provide some income for those kind of amateur. They make their content and they are live, kind of sustainable. So we use our innovation to make sure we can support those kind of live SNS, those key opinion leaders. Those we can enrich those user-generated content to meet different consumers' different needs. So we talked about the capability of the production, and we talked about the innovation. So the next thing is about we need to engage more fans to be part of our broadcasting, for them to more of them to enjoy the content. So we have this social engagement. Here is some poster on the first line. It's the sort of like official kind of announcement and official advertising for those games. This is from the recent Europe champion, Europe champions. We basically tell them which game is very important and what kind of behind-the-scenes story after. You're gonna definitely to take a look of the game. And we also have some casual kind of social engagement on that. For example, we portray a guy is watching the live game when he is working in the office. So we can do that. And also we show a guy even watching the NBA live in the toilet. The interesting thing is about NBA is the game usually is in the morning because of the time difference. So the Chinese fans really cannot find the TV. They have to be in the office. So sometimes they even hide in a toilet to watch the game via Tencent Sports. And also we see this Shilly taxi. the shitty taxi. Maybe the starting fee is only $1. Looks a very poor car stuff. But this taxi is providing live broadcasting service for NBA. So next year we're gonna have, not even next year, maybe when FIBA have a great game, we can also do that to make sure more people can enjoy FIBA's game, to enjoy this great sports. And this is, we talk about the online, but we are not just an online company. As we talked about before, we try to connect online and offline. So this is the on-the-ground engagement we had only for last year. We run this engagement in 300 universities, and we have 20,000 enrollment for those kind of event. And we create a lot of excitement for our university students. But this is just one piece of what we are doing for on the ground. And we even organize the celebrity, Super Penguin Celebrity Basketball. We bring those kind of legendary NBA players. And we also bring some famous entertainer, those movie stars, those singers. They play this basketball together. So Tencent actually have the capability to run those kind of real games. And we also providing online broadcasting service to those fans who cannot be there. So that's why we are in the discussion with FIBA on the 3-on-3 game. We try to promote this sport and to provide fun to Chinese fans. So this is what we are doing on the ground. And here is the example for Kobe. It's just an example to talking about the online engagement. How do we organize those kind of things with a lot of help from NBA? And Kobe is a famous player all around the world. And during his retirement day, Tencent is not just the focus on the game. We starting our live broadcasting when he is training. And we even generate a lot of social debate, engage a lot of fans within the 3 days after the game. So the total viewership of this social engagement is 110 million viewership. So it's just one case of what we are doing on the social engagement, leveraging a small event, maybe not that small. And with that, the next, I'm going to share a video so talking about what we were doing for Olympics. That is a 3 weeks event. Kobe's farewell just 1 day. So in that 3 weeks event, we set up a large screen in the National Stadium in Beijing. It's like a national pride in China. So we created those one-on-one engagement between a Chinese gold medalist to just a normal, just a random pedestrian past the screen. So here's the video. Hope you will enjoy it.
Tencent News opens a time travel door that allows easy access. All departments get set. 3, 2, 1, go. Go, go, go. Reel, get ready. Reel is set to be connected. Hello, hello, the couple over here? Yes, I am talking to you. I am now in Brazil in the Olympic studio. Now it is 9 p.m. local time. Really? You don't believe it, right? Well, now I'm gonna invite someone and you'll know if I'm lying or not. Wow, Sun Yang. I love you. Can you hear me? Can I add you on WeChat?
Medal. In 5 minutes, he came to our studio.
You're always the best. Hello, you are Fu Yuanhui, right? I'm not. Can I have a little request? Yes, of course. I'd like to take a photo with you. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, I can. Could you show your muscles? Six packs? I'd like to see. I don't mind if you take off the pants either. Hello? Can I hug you? Like this? Come on over. Apple down, and then orange down, orange down. Hi, here I am. Look, down and up.
A young company. We are very new in this industry. We try to learn from a lot of previous great guys, great success. We are still learning, so we hope we can learn from FIBA as well. We want to be learning and being better with you. So we talked about the three pillars already. So here we are going to the last pillar. It's about the monetization. We talk about Tencent definitely got a lot of commercial value from the partnership, and our advertising revenue tripled versus last year, and our membership, the VIP membership, doubled versus last year, and our revenue from the gaming business, the sports-related gaming, doubled versus last year, and our sports-related apparel and those kind of e-commerce via our sports platform got 20 times versus last year. And definitely, frankly speaking, it has grown from a small base, but we definitely trying to look at even bigger growth with FIBA's help and the partnership. But this kind of monetization is only for Tencent. But most important for us is to generate value for the partners. So let's see what kind of value we can bring to our partner. For example, NBA. Last season, actually, it's the first season, Tencent as the broadcaster. We brought this total viewership of the live game actually for 2 times. And we doubled this user coverage for those games. And in terms of the total viewership, it reaches 20 billion. And that is 4 times versus the season before Tencent started to do this live broadcasting. And the next pillar here is about Olympic. In that 3 weeks' time, Tencent is not a exclusive broadcaster for Olympic in China. But looking at Tencent as one broadcaster versus the other broadcaster, internet broadcasters total, we are 6 times in terms of streaming hours, bigger than the rest of them, the total of the rest of the players. And in terms of user coverage, we are 3 times of the total of the rest of them. In terms of video viewership, we are 9 billion, 4 times versus the rest of them's total. So this is what we can bring the value to our partner. So as we talked before, Tencent's, we want to create an ecosystem. We want to benefit every partners, not just ourselves. So this is pretty much the monetization. We definitely will trying to do better to benefit FIBA as well. So here is the last page. Together, we want to create a new high of the partnership. And we want to create a new height of basketball culture, not just for the basketball as a sport. We want to basketball as a culture in the Chinese life. So we believe that Tencent, FIBA, we are together, and we are basketballs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What we will now... Patrick.
Very much, Mr. Schaefer, for your presentation. I think that if we look back at the presentation yesterday, at your presentation in the subgroup on media and marketing, at least I think two things should resonate and you should be getting back. It is all about content and how you use that content in the most efficient way, whether you have your own domestic championship, whether you have your own events, whether you have a party of the national federations, it's content. And that content has value. Certainly it's not immediately monetization probably, it's about making sure you're known, making sure people connect with you, and I think the example that Tencent has given to us are very clear on how certain connection will come, and that's moving from a fast-growing market, but it's going to span over the world in a very short period of time. And you will see this and even more developments rather fast and not slow. So brace for change also in that area and make sure you're ready to embrace also amateur broadcasters that broadcast or that are filming your own games in your domestic championship or in lower levels, because all of this is content and can be used. And the second point is that don't think that only in your country they are curious about your content or that they will consume your content. Everywhere they are looking for content from everywhere. And certainly the Chinese market is so hungry for content from every corner of the world in everything that you can be sure that if somehow you find a way to bring your content online, you will multiply together with the partnership with Tencent, the viewers that will look at this. And if that's the case, your sponsors will be happy, your partners will be happy, your authorities will be happy, and you personally will be happy when you look at the numbers of the people that go on your website or are referring to your website. So it's not just about the technology, it's about also growing your market and certainly making sure that even small federations can benefit from the internet revolution and the things that nowadays are being done. You don't need a heavy, costly media production to do. You can do this with very unsophisticated material that is of high quality and you will be able to use it on your phones and on a simple video camera that a kid is using, and that material can go across the globe very rapidly. So thank you once again, Mr. Xie, for your effort. Thank you. We look forward to establishing further records in multiplying those numbers with the World Cup and with the qualifiers, and certainly if the NBA reaches 20 billion, I mean, together we should certainly reach 40 or 50 billion very, 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 very soon. Thank you very much.
Bueno, vamos a...
Thank you. Let's continue on our agenda. Let's go on to item 7. This is the activity report by the International Basketball Foundation. As you know, Ivan Manini, the president, couldn't be with us because he has health problems. Now, he would have liked to have given this report, and we have a number of programs on corporate responsibility, and he has been one of the main movers behind that program. However, having said that, I would now give the floor to the chair in office, Sheikh Saad bin Al-Thani. Sheikh, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Mr. Manini, of course, he's now rehabilitated from some problem. We had good activities in the foundation, and I would like to give the floor to our director, Mr. Florian, to give the report about our activities. Thank you.
Can I have the PowerPoint? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Mr. President, dear friends, to be honest, I feel a little bit intimidated after this presentation. After all the zeros that we saw in this presentation, at least I discovered one similarity. We're also very young. The foundation has been founded in 2008, so comparing to the 85th years of FIBA, we're very young. And actually we only started on an operational level in 2011. And we started our projects on the ground in 2016. I will be very brief and very much to the disgrace to my treasurer, to the IBF treasurer. I will do this in English and not my mother tongue, German. Entschuldigung. I'm referring to the working papers, pages 67 to 70. There you have a written report. I hope you had a chance to read it, so I'm not going to repeat what you already saw there. I would like to highlight on a couple of elements. Number one, you see this beautiful logo, and I think it has to be clarified that the International Basketball Foundation is FIBA, and FIBA is the International Basketball Foundation. As a matter of fact, 5 members of the IBF board are sitting here on this table, and 3 others are sitting in the plenum. However, we are a separate legal identity. We are a Swiss foundation. We are registered in the commercial register in Switzerland. We have to give our audited reports to the surveillance body of the Canton of Vaud. So in this sense, we are kind of independent. Now, let's talk about our mission. Of course, we have an aligned strategy in between FIBA and the foundation, but we're trying to be complementary. There is this sentence from our president, who unfortunately can't be with us: basketball offers a great vehicle for change. And I would like to supplement this quote with a quote from a great leader, the late Nelson Mandela. I'm sure you heard the first part of the quote. Sport has the power to change the world. I think all of you have heard this already. But the quote continues. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where once there was only despair. So this is very often quoted, and I apologize for repeating it if you heard it already complete. But I think there are very few quotes that express what we want to do in a better way. What's our target group? As you can see from those images, our target are youngsters, 8 to 18 years, and we are flexible. If there is a 7-year kid, we will not kick them out, and if there is a 19-year, not neither. But we want to focus on the youth. And basketball is always and must be always at the core of our projects. Sorry, this was too quick. We invest in long-term projects. So when we define our budgets, we want to invest at least in 3-year projects. This is why we want those projects to be sustainable. When we leave, we would like that those projects go on. And our focus are the countries that need our help the most, both in terms of basketball development and economic development. And we want a strong commitment from our partners. So we are signing contracts with each and everyone, and there is regular reporting and auditing. Speaking about the governance, here we really want to follow also the pathway of FIBA. We are beginners. As I told you, we only started in 2016, and we have limited resources, and we are definitely not the Bank of England. So we have to select our projects. Doing this, we have to talk to people that are close to our projects. That is in first instance the regional offices, the executive directors of the regional offices, and the national federations. You know best the problems of your countries, the challenges of your countries. It's not us to tell you what we should do when we go with projects there. Let's go to the projects. As I said, we only started in 2016. We are beginners. And as beginners, we are making mistakes, but I think we are also making progress. Let's talk about the first project. That's a project that we are running together with FIBA Oceania and the National Federation of Papua New Guinea. The president of Papua New Guinea couldn't make it here, but if you have questions on this, David Crocker, the executive director, is here, and you can ask him about this project. You can see on the map the position of this country. I learned that it's a relatively well-developed country economically, but it has huge problems regarding violence. So one of the elements of this project is a project called Twilight Basketball, where they open a gym in the evening and kids come and play. They only have to register with their name, and this gives a database to the federation, and of course they can practice sports in a safe environment. In the first 2 months, over 5,000 youngsters already participated in this. Next. Madagascar actually was a flagship and a pilot project, working with schools, inspired by an activity that was done by the Turkish Federation some 3 years ago, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education. And rather than talking too much about this project, I would suggest we look at a small video. Oops. Can we look at the video?
Est constitué par 4 actions précises. Une action sportive qui consiste donc à la formation de basketball à ces jeunes écoliers grâce à l'intervention des animateurs formés par la fédération. La deuxième action, c'est une action sociale, c'est-à-dire donc l'appui donné à ces enfants donc, grâce à la mise en place de la cantine scolaire au niveau de chaque école et aussi à la dotation à chaque entrée de kits scolaires à ces enfants. Une action économique grâce au projet, des entités économiques, des PMI, PME malgaches ont pu bénéficier de certaines commandes, d'équipements sportifs, etc., etc. Et enfin, qui n'est pas le moindre, une action administrative par le renforcement donc, de la structure de la fédération. Ce renforcement se manifeste par le recrutement de son secrétaire exécutif et d'un assistant.
Tao anatin'ny telovolana izay nanaovana ny ohatran'ny karazana ihany aloha angamba na teo amin'ny resaka basket niarahana tamin'ny fédération eto amin'ny PPS Rahay. Dia hita tokoa fa misy zavatra niova mihitsy. Teo amin'ny ankizy aloha nijerena voalohany dia tena hoe mora nanday ny ankizy zany ary mora nanday lesona dia mora nampianarina dia mora nahay amin'ny basket. Zareo koa moa efa ao anatin'ny fanaraha-teo dia tsy andaniny kosa momba amin'ny baolina ihany fa hatreo amin'ny fianarana dia nahay mihitsy zareo ny niova tanteraka tena kontaktio dia tena isorana be dia be ary indrindrindrindra zany ho an'ireo zavatra mpanampiana vetravetra izay nataon'ny mpianakavy.
Fanjiko dia teo tavita amin'ny basket, teo tavita amin'ny fianarana mbo teo mpampianatsy.
Ce type de projet mérite d'être soutenu à Madagascar car nous pouvons dire qu'il a apporté joie et bonheur à ses écoliers. L'impact social du projet est réel et déterminant. Et enfin, le développement à la base, qui est le milieu scolaire, a été effectif grâce à la mise en œuvre du programme.
So as I said, the president of the Malgache Federation is with us. If you have questions, please. Let's go to our next project. This is in Namibia, a project in cooperation with an NGO. That's one of the two projects we're working with an NGO called Isinbindi, in cooperation with the German Olympic Association and the German Basketball Federation. There we helped to construct the basketball facility that you see here. It's school children from various schools that go into a school called Basketball Artist School, and they practice basketball, but further they learn life skills and also regular subjects like mathematics and English. The next project is in Rwanda. It's almost a carbon copy of the project in Madagascar, with one big difference. This is not in a city, but it's in two rural areas of the country, in the north of the country. The president is with us, so please, you can talk to him if you have questions. Now, the next project is a very specific project because it is not only addressing one country, but 11 countries in the region. These are relatively small countries. I'm looking at Andorra in front of me. You have inhabitants between 10,000 and 200,000 people, but there is a big number of countries that are members of FIBA and also countries that are not members of FIBA. And we invited them to participate in a 3-on-3 youth activity. Again, here we have a video. Can we please have a look at the video?
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want, but you must try and try.
My name is Jason Gonzalez and I'm from Aruba.
Bonjour, mon nom est Mick Foucan, j'ai 16 ans, je suis de la Martinique.
My name is Luis Fernandez.
My name is Francis Bridgewater from Trinidad and Tobago, and this of course is
Joshua Bridgewater from Trinidad and Tobago.
That's my last son, Joshua. I'm exceptionally proud of it. I never pushed him into basketball. He decided on his own a couple of years ago, at the age of 15, he wanted to start playing. I wanted one day to play in the NBA, but I think he can do it. So I'm hoping that one day he will reach that far.
You can get
I learned a lot during the last few days, especially through interacting with different people and stuff like that. I learned a little bit of French from the Guadeloupe people, a little bit of Spanish, and mixed from the Curacao.
Rome was not built in a day.
Everyone should take a lot from the leadership program, where we learned different things. I actually learned from different countries, different problems that they may face in their country, and how we could give back and help. Every morning we was doing a workshop, which was very, very, very good for us and good for everybody, I think.
Slowly, slowly. There we go. There we go. Nice. No, it's not nice. Yeah, what is this?
In the workshops, I've mostly learned how to make new friendships and experienced not only winning, that winning is not only important on the court and off the court, and how to share my leadership around with other countries.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it.
There's been a leadership workshop teaching kids how to be better leaders, to get back to their communities, how they could better their communities, and it's very interactive and it's a good thing. And it's an amazing tournament going on, very competitive, and it's a great experience.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try. Try and try. Try and try. You'll succeed at last.
Teamwork and more this game we evaluated the players and them so we know what to do and what not to do. So all the players know what they had to do and what not to do. Although we had plenty of fouls, the game was better than the rest.
I have been playing from like 2 years and I like the communication with the group, how the people move. I actually like everything from basketball.
Persecution.
Well, it's an amazing experience, and what is the most beautiful is you meeting the kids, you see them interact, you see them like being together, learning from each other, and just the experience more than the competition that it is.
It's really great seeing how much people is interested in this and how many talent is here, and I'm really, really excited, and I'm really grateful that I can be here.
You'll succeed at last. I know it. Listen, Rome was not built in a day. Opposition will come.
My community is very hard to fit into, but once you get in, it's a very nice community. They're very helpful. Everybody looks out for each other. There's a couple problems that there is in every community, but with the work that we've been doing here, maybe I could go back and make a difference.
If you want to win, you have to work hard. If you want to achieve something, you have to work for it, train for it. So it don't matter whether you're a girl or a boy, the rules are the same. You have to work for what you want, but what you want, you need to know what you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the FIBA president, Mr. Horacio Maratori. Horacio for president.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it.
Follow your dreams and always do what your heart says.
Le basket c'est la vie, le basket c'est ma vie.
Basketball for good.
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 Basketball for good. Basketball for good.
Basketball for good.
Basketball for good.
So I hope that this video gave you an idea of what we try to do. Again, 11 countries from the region. Most of the presidents are in this room. If you have questions, please go to them. South Sudan is our next project, and it is a complicated project, as you can imagine, because there we are working again with an NGO The South Sudanese Federation is involved, but the program is rolled out by an NGO called Generations for Peace. That's the only NGO recognized by the International Olympic Committee in working in sports for development, created by Prince Faisal from Jordania. And we're working there in a refugees camp. And the main focus there is conflict resolution between the two tribes that are in conflict there since years. Now, you have seen in all of those projects we have partners. We have long-standing partners like Molten, through FIBA is helping, supporting our projects. We have Genius Sports, and we have other partners, but we're very proud and happy to have signed a new contract as a global partner, the Peak Corporation, and we're very happy to have with us today the CEO of the Peak Corporation and the son of the founder of the company. And he would like to address to you why he has changed this partnership. Mr. Xu.
This will be in Chinese, so please use your headsets.
Distinguished Mr. Murator, the President of FIBA, the Vice President of IBM, Mr. Salt, Mr. Patrick Bowman, the Secretary General of FIBA, and all the members, good afternoon.
First of all, on behalf of Peak, I would like to thank our new partner, the International Basketball Foundation, for their excellent work. I would also like to thank all the members of the Central Board. I would like to thank you for the work you have done and to promote the basketball activity. It is also a dream of my father. So for Peak to have become an owner and participated in the basketball work, it is a great opportunity for us. Peak is no doubt a brand originated from basketball. From the creation of our first pair of shoes, Peak started its aim to be one of the top sports brands in the world. On the way to pursue our goal, Peak has started its internationalization from 10 years ago. And I believe many of the delegates here today know Peak very well. And some of you have contributed significantly to the global development of Peak. Thanks for you and the in-depth cooperation with FIBA in the past 8 years, Peak has established a very well-connected network around the world in more than 80 countries. So why are we working with IBF? Because the world basketball stage does not only belong to us, not only to all the top national athletes, but also to every ordinary and grassroots people who love this sport. It especially belongs to the boys and girls who are unable to enjoy basketball due to poverty, war, or social perception. For them to experience the charm of basketball, to help them realize basketball dream, this is the natural responsibility for any brand or organization who is born for basketball. And we have strong consensus with the IBF on this. Before working with IBF, Peak has already done multiple work for this mission. First of all, we have our own charity brand, which is, we are the only sport company in China which has established this. It is called Peak Love. Under Peak Love, every year, we will issue social responsibility report, which talks about the work that we have done for society for the past year. And among this, work related to basketball is the biggest part. Here, I would have to mention my dear friend, Mr. Yao Ming, who is also the new president of the Chinese Basketball Federation. We have worked with Yao Ming and his foundation on many occasions. We have invited players to play charity games and interact with kids in Yao Foundation. Every year, Peak will organize all its endorsed NBA players to visit a lot of unprivileged schools and communities during their China tour each summer. Peak also has a perfect Peak Start campaign, which will train more than 10,000 kids and provide professional basketball training to them. In addition, internationally, we have also worked with many international organizations. In 2016, ahead of the Rio Olympics, we organized a tour of the Olympians to go to a Brazilian unprivileged communities. We have continued to support and sponsor the Olympic collection gears to these children. In the future, we would like to enhance our work with the IBF to a new, higher level. The confidence really comes from two reasons. Firstly, we have strong support from FIBA. Secondly, we have very strong and clear cooperation strategies. We will support all the IBF projects. We will build a brand new system with the IBF for charity purposes. This system will include international basketball exchange programs participated by national teams, World Basketball Development Forums attended by national federations, and basketball academies participated by youth, referees, and coaches. Our partnership philosophy is to cooperate, to help each other, and to create, because we know it is not enough to rely only on Peak and IBF. We need more people to engage in this, to provide us with support of finance and human resources. Therefore, I sincerely call on everyone here to join in this project, in this charity project. Everyone who loves basketball has a basketball dream that is worthy of our respect. And for Peak, we would like to become a world respectable and partner proud international brand. If you agree with what Peak has done and what we're doing now, please give us more support in the future to help us realize this dream. Thank you very much.
We'd like to recognize Peak and its chairman, the father of Mr. Chu, for having been a long-time partner also of FIBA and now having engaged as partner of the foundation. And for those that are interested, Tony is the guy. I'm sure you know him already by heart, or he knows you by heart. Want to finish your presentation? Thank you.
Me again, 2 minutes more. Okay, so you saw the core mission of the foundation, and we finally got to this core mission. I spent my first 3 years in the foundation with helping with others, building the new house of basketball, and you saw this yesterday in the video. So this is IBF's property, and we manage it. In addition, we are organizing on behalf of FIBA the Hall of Fame. We had last year in August an induction ceremony with headlined by David Stern and Hakeem Olajuwon and other great players. And this year, and I please ask you to note this in your agenda, we will have the induction ceremony on 30 September in Geneva. 30 September in me, we will do the induction ceremony 2017. In your documents there is a wrong date, and we decided to move this outside of the competition system with the continental championships for that reason. Now, the FIBA Equipment and Venue Center is very important for us because it creates revenue for the foundation, and it also adds partners that we can use in our project. Very simple, 3 objectives: raising standards and quality of basketball equipment, protecting the health of the athletes and the spectators, and number 3, creating business opportunities. So we test equipment, we homologate it, and according to our rules, only FIBA-approved equipment can be used in official FIBA competition. Now, many of you will be involved in 2017 onwards, new competition system. And in discussing with our events department, we know that this is a transition phase. We cannot expect that everybody of all the arenas around the world have always FIBA-approved equipment, but we will slowly and surely trying to push you in this direction. We're hoping that this will also help to improve your infrastructures. Last but not least, educational activities. We are working with the World Academy of Sport, and there are online courses. It has been talked about in the 3-on-3 workshops, online for 3-on-3, but also for your sports managers. And I should also mention that we continue our good cooperation with Genius Sports. They are producing for us the FIBA Live Stats and the FIBA Organizer. Some of you are using it. One representative is here, Ben Turner. I don't know where he is. Maybe he can stand up quickly. He's back there. So if you have a question about FIBA Live Stats and the FIBA Organizer, please go to him. Now, of course, we want to develop our projects. I can tell you right now, during the IBF meeting, we were discussing 2 new projects, one in Asia. I'm discussing with the Executive Director of Asia. We should again address the issue of the refugees in one of the most affected countries in the region. We have no project in Asia right now, and I think we should have one. And we are discussing right now with FIBA Africa and with some countries in the southern part of Africa, a new project that is going alongside what you saw from the Antilles. So we hope to touch and reach out to at least 10 countries in that region. Finally, the IWBF and what they are doing, I believe, and we believe, is very much in the DNA of the foundation regarding inclusion, and we will try to strengthen our cooperation with them. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, I hope this was not too long, and I thank you for your attention.
Not in German, but good.
Thank you, Mr. Shoyan. Thank you, Mr. President. This is our report, and if there is anything, we are under your disposal to ask. Thank you.
Lo dijo el Sheikh. Si alguna...
So you heard from Sheikh. Any questions? Please ask them now. Thank you. Thank you to you, Florian. Thank you to you, Sheikh. You've done a good job. We're coming to the end of our Congress. We're going to move on to item 8 of the agenda. And I just wanted to notify you that the day before yesterday, on the Wednesday of this week, the Central Board recognized and approved a certain number of awards, including the Merit of Merit, Bill McInnes, because he has been involved for a long time to FIBA, and he also helped create a program for the Basketball Federation in the United Kingdom. Patrick, how are we going to pass on this award, and what other awards are we going to hand out? And I think that there may be people asking for the floor on this subject. Patrick.
In fact, what we'd like to reward today as an awards. We will have two series of awards. The first one is to recognize the efforts done by 3 former members of FIBA that are not here today, as they've been replaced with a new member. And those were the members of England, Scotland and Wales. They've been long-time members of this family, and in the same moment when the UK, Great Britain, was awarded the Olympic Games of London in 2012. I mean, they hosted them in 2012, but they were awarded in 2005. Discussions began for the 3 home nations to form not just the British team for 2012, but also to form an organization that would be governing the British program and would become a member of FIBA instead of, in lieu of, the 3 home nations. And England, Scotland and Wales have worked very hard towards achieving that result, and the agreement made with them and with the new organization was that this would happen, this passing of powers, if I may say so, from the 3 member federations that are in fact 3 home nations to the British Basketball Federations after the Rio Olympic Games. And the Rio Olympic Games have ended last year in September, and as of the 1st of October, British Basketball Federation has automatically become a member of FIBA, and England and Scotland and Wales have relinquished their rights as a member of FIBA in favor of the British Basketball Federation. Now, none of them, the England, Scotland and Wales, we did not want necessarily to have them spend money and time to fly over to Hong Kong. We felt it is certainly more appropriate for the British Basketball Federation to be here and then to do a specific ceremony and a thank you to those 3 countries in their country, in the UK, in due course. But at the same time, the board, as the President has announced, has also awarded the Order of Merit to Bill McInnes. Bill McInnes, some of you may have known him. He has been, in fact, for a long time leading Basketball Scotland and being seen in the 70s on the grounds as a great player for Scotland and for the GB teams for practically 150 times. And he's been also basically the glue that kept the home nations together in these efforts to make a British Basketball Federation. And eventually, it is really thanks to him, who had an unwavering support for this project, that England and Wales finally also accepted this project and signed up to make the British Basketball Federation a reality. He's also become the founding chair of the British Basketball Federation, and he's been a true gentleman and a friend of this family for many, many years. Unfortunately, he has left us very suddenly, and this Order of Merit will therefore be given to him, the Scottish Basketball Federation, and to his family posthumously, and we will also include that in the celebrations that we will do by recognizing the efforts of the 3 countries. However, we would like to do this with your blessing. I think that having 3 federations that have been participating in so many congresses and not being here today is, on one hand, sad. They still remain our friends, but they have now in Lisa, CEO, and her board, somebody that represents all of them. And if you agree, Lisa, I'd like you to say a few words on behalf of them. Lisa? Please, come over here. Yeah, absolutely. Lisa is the CEO of the British Basketball Federation.
Not so tall, you will see. Mr. President, General Secretary, Congress, just on behalf of England, Scotland and Wales, I want to thank you for all your support and FIBA, the tremendous amount of time and effort that you've provided to British basketball in forming a new organisation. As many of you will know, bringing a group of people together to form one organisation is no easy task, particularly when there's power and politics involved. And I have to say, The expertise of Patrick and his colleagues have been immensely invaluable to us. So thank you very, very much. In terms of moving forwards, we are now Britain, we're unified, and I represent England, Scotland, and Wales. I don't eat haggis, I don't sing particularly well, but I am from England, so I speak English. So I have one good thing, I think, going for me. In terms of Bill, many, many of you have said some kind words to me regarding Bill. I know he's a friend to many, many of you. I only knew him for a short time, but in that time I learnt huge amounts. And I called his family following the news of his Order of Merit, and I just want to say that Andrea is just overwhelmed with the amount of support again, the friendship, and the everlasting love that you all have for him and for basketball. And British basketball will continue, in essence, to continue with his values, to keep the sport together, and keep this as one family in Britain. So on behalf of Bill and his family, genuinely thank you so much. And I look forward to working with many of you in the years to come. Thank you.
Lisa, thank you very much. I think that when she's speaking about the politics around getting England, Scotland, and Wales together, I'm sure that many of you can understand that this has not been an easy task, and certainly we are extremely grateful to all those that love basketball in your country and have made it possible, and in particular, certainly Bill and the leadership of the three home nations. So please give them the thanks on our behalf and on behalf of the Congress for that. And we will, as I said, make something very more special together with our friends in FIBA Europe in the UK. Now also there will be a second set of awards. However, that's going to be a surprise during dinner. Many of you have worked hard over these couple of years. Your countries have achieved remarkable successes. You've grown, you've become more diligent and have had better results on the field, and we'd like to acknowledge that. So don't escape from dinner because you don't know who's going to get it. You have one chance out of 139 to be awarded, and I can already tell you that there's not just one award, but there's going to be 12 awards given. So the chances are actually improving very fast. Now, this concludes the point on awards, Mr. President.
Gracias, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. So 12 plus 1 prizes, that's 13. Okay. So for item 8, we haven't received any request for information. 9 is miscellaneous, nothing under miscellaneous. Perhaps I could just ask Patrick to give us some logistics information for today, tomorrow, and perhaps Sunday as well.
Mr. President, as the President prepares himself for his closing remarks,
主席先生的准备他的闭幕词，我想先。
As we plan forward, we are already, in fact, in the middle of a process for awarding the 2023 World Cup, and I have the pleasure of informing you that there's a number of countries that are eagerly trying to bid and host that event. We have Argentina in conjunction with their peers and cousins of the Uruguay. We have the Philippines, who are trying to put together a bid together with Indonesia and Japan. We have our good friends Turkey, who have left a leaflet on your table and will be celebrating the 100 years of their republic in 2023. And we have our good friends from Russia. And if everything works out well between the Evaluation Commission and the work that this board will do, the board will meet in December and vote on those candidatures. The third point then that I would like to make, or the second point that I would like to make, is now more logistics. We have tonight a dinner in a more formal setting than yesterday evening, so it will be a seated dinner hosted by our good friend, Central Board member, Mr. Pangilinan, and also former president of the Philippine Basketball Association, and he's already on his He's already cooked. Where is he? I don't see him. Sorry, because I didn't see you there, so I thought you were already cooking for tonight. So, okay, so good. Thank you very much, Mr. Pangilinan, for your kind hospitality tonight, and in agreement, obviously, with the Hong Kong Basketball Association, who also wanted to host us. And as for tomorrow, you have received on your desks these two pieces of papers here. We did not make a coffee break. We felt you might be more comfortable in finishing a little bit earlier and then having a few minutes rest before leaving for dinner tonight, which I'm sure we will put again back on a screen to know when exactly that dinner is and when we have to leave the hotel. However, for tomorrow, there are two options of going around in Hong Kong, kindly offered and in conjunction with our good friend Dr. Carl Menke Ching, but also with the Hong Kong Tourism Board, who has helped us a lot in during this week here. You have the chance of going to do a sightseeing tour in Lantau, seeing finally the big Buddha. If someone has not come in the night, you might have seen it on the way from the airport to here, and a few other things like the fishing village, which is a very interesting thing to see. Or the other way around is to go on the other side to the island. That's the second tour, to see the Hong Kong Island tour. Now that's going to take you a little bit for the day at 12 o'clock, and then you will be driven to the 3-on-3 tournament, which is this area, where you can attend the final phase of the 3-on-3 tournament if you so wish. So if you want to leave, meeting point is in the hotel lobby. At the same time, however, it would certainly be useful if you tick a cross and you leave it back at the reception desk where you have registered, so that at least there can be sure that there's enough seats on the bus and we can really accommodate everyone. That is the information for tomorrow. Then obviously for Guangzhou, those that go to Guangzhou, there are 4 buses leaving on Sunday morning at 9:30. This is for the national federations. All those sitting in the room, the central board will be leaving at 10:30. And for all the others who have departures to the Hong Kong airport, your information should be in your rooms if you have provided the right information to our staff. I think that concludes, Mr. President, some of the logistics, and of course our team is at your disposal for questions or issues that you may have here or there. And I might receive another information right now. Of course, you will be checked, screened if you have a passport and visa on Sunday morning if you're going to Guangzhou, just to avoid that you travel some minutes in the bus and then you are stuck at the border with China. So just make sure that you have passport and visa and you empty your safes in your hotel rooms, because to come back might a little bit be complicated. Mr. President, that concludes the logistics.
Well, can you all hear me?